scientific discovery and scientific understanding. What is the difference between them? Is there at all a difference between them? And how should we understand this difference between discovery and understanding in the scientific perspective from the AI context? AI being artificial intelligence. This is something which has turned out to be an important question because nowadays in AI, there's a lot of discovery which is happening in terms of the information that we generally collect from various different sources. But one will have to ask whether discovery of the information can lead to better understanding. There is a subtle difference between them, and this is what I would want to emphasize in this particular video. I will take the help of a very nice review article which was published in 2022. And this particular review article has some very interesting aspects related to scientific understanding with artificial intelligence. This is a paper which is published in Nature Review Physics roughly about 3 to 4 years ago. And all these authors actually are well known, especially Alan Guzik is a well known person who also utilizes a lot of computational physics and chemistry. So this bunch of people are having the right background to talk about scientific understanding vis-a-vis artificial intelligence. This is a very broad question, and trying to connect understanding, and more so in the scientific understanding perspective, with respect to artificial intelligence itself is a very interesting question. And there are a few things which really caught my attention while studying this particular review article, and I would want to highlight some of the aspects related to the discussion. This is one of the very nice distinction which is made by the authors between scientific understanding and scientific discovery. Let's see what they have to say. They say that scientific understanding and scientific discovery are both important aims of science. The two are distinct in the sense that scientific discovery is possible without new scientific understanding. This is something which is very interesting to note because they are mentioning that the understanding is as important as discovery, but crucially they make a point that there is a difference, there's a distinction between these two aspects, and one should always remember that one can have scientific discovery without new scientific understanding. Okay, and you may ask, really, is it so? And they give some very interesting example, and this is one of the examples they give where they are trying to understand how you can utilize artificial intelligence to extract new discoveries, and then from that particular discovery how you would be able to get scientific understanding. But crucially they make this particular distinction first. They want to actually first give you an example of how a discovery need not be the same as scientific understanding. So to make the point, they say to design new efficient molecules of organic laser diodes, this is an example they are trying to give, a search space of 1.6 million was explored with machine learning and the quantum chemistry insights. Okay, so they essentially performed some kind of calculation. From this calculation, the top candidate was experimentally synthesized and investigated. So they were trying to actually come up with molecules for organic laser diodes, and they really explored this very large space of probabilities. From there, they choose the top candidate, and they experimentally synthesize those organic molecules which were used for laser diodes. The main aim was to see whether they would be able to obtain very high quantum efficiency. So what the authors realized from this kind of a study that this particular study discovered new molecules with very high quantum efficiency. Whereas, and this is a crucial part of the sentence, whereas these discoveries could have important technological consequences, the result do not provide new scientific understanding. This is a very important point, what they are trying to emphasize. They're saying that although you are able to now, come up with efficient molecules for organic laser diodes, one is able to actually experimentally synthesize them and investigate them and also obtain very high quantum efficiency, which actually has direct technological implication. But why that particular molecule has very high efficiency is not a question that is addressed due to this particular study. This is the crucial difference between scientific understanding and scientific discovery. You may be able to discover a particular substance with very high quantum efficiency, but that does not mean that you have the direct understanding of the scientific principles behind this particular phenomena, which means that once you have some specific kind of a discovery, the next step is for you to go and try to understand this. And this particular directionality is not always only in this particular direction, by the way. Okay. One can also have for first the scientific understanding and go ahead and perform a discovery. And this is a crucial element of the understanding and discovery part, which is sometimes not paid attention to. So, what, for example, artificial intelligence can do is to do very well with the scientific discovery part. But in order to leap from scientific discovery to understanding, it needs further analysis. And this further analysis needs human intervention. It needs also a viewpoint from a researcher where not only the gathering of information is relevant, but what is important is also how you look at that information, how you utilize that information, what questions you ask, what are the kind of analysis one performs. So there is some amount of subjectivity in these kind of situations. So this is a very interesting aspect. So essentially, they kind of define certain things and they give a very nice example of this particular phenomena. So in this paper, you also will find more examples of similar kind, and they try to give the perspective, telling that there is a lot more to understand, etc. So what is the AI context? In the context of the AI, undoubtedly, what the author says is that advanced computational methods in general in AI specifically will further revolutionize how scientists investigate the secrets of our world. So they are really telling that okay, you will be able to do this particular thing with the AI. But what they have done in this particular review article is that outline how these new methods can directly contribute to acquire new scientific understanding. Okay. And they further mention that we suspect that significant further progress in use of AI to acquire scientific understanding will require multidisciplinary collaborations between, and this is the important part, between natural scientists, computer scientists, and philosophers of science. So you can see that there is a role for natural scientists. Obviously, you would want to actually understand the physical, chemical, biological, and engineering perspective of everything. And you need AI perspective from the computer scientist. And you also need this third part, which is the philosophy of science. You may tell, why do you really require this part of it? This is a very crucial part of doing research because it will also depend on what kind of questions you ask in order to perform your discoveries and inventions. And this sometimes needs a perspective which is very broad. Who will ask the person who will ask the question, right? There is a question, and what is the nature of the question in the scientific research is an equally important question to be addressed. Thus, the authors say, we firmly believe that the research efforts can, within our lifetimes, transform AI into true agents of understanding that will directly contribute to one of the main goals of science, namely scientific understanding. Now, this is a very important part. What they're trying to say is that hopefully this kind of perspective would lead to greater understanding of science, and AI can really play a very critical role in such kind of a pursuit. That is the main point they're trying to make. So what we have essentially discussed is this scientific discovery versus understanding. This is exactly what we have been trying to kind of discuss here. So if you are really wondering what is the difference, this is a kind of a crucial difference you have to always note. And there is some specific difference between them, but the boundary is not very clear. And within the AI context, there is a scope for not only discovery, but there is also a scope for understanding. Discovery part is already really playing a very critical role. It has already emerged to be a very important kind of development. But in terms of scientific understanding, it is still yet to make a real impact. This would require not only just un, you know r- uh, coming up with a lot of data, but the discovery should transform into understanding. This kind of coupling is where the real action is, and this is where one would really require to understand the science, right? Because without the basic foundations of these scientific principles, you would not be able to really take the discovery and lead to further understanding. And this further understanding has further scope for expansion, and this can lead to so many interesting things. So this is the main point I would want to discuss. So I hope you would you appreciate this particular point. I'll also link the reference in the description. Do have a look at the paper if you have access. And I've also written a blog on this, linking this particular details. So if you are also interested, have a look at it. Thanks. Bye.